One of the best ways to learn, and one of the best ways to learn deeply and to allow the brain to explore, to discover, to feel, to get new information, to empathize, and doing all that is not necessarily from the things that you think there are. Sometimes people read 20, 30 books and really not much changes in their brain. They're still acting the same way, they're still doing the same things. 95% of the brain is still exactly the same as the day before. What I learned a while back, and this is a skill, it seems easy and it sounds easy, but if you can master this deep learning skill, and it is a deep learning skill, if you can master just this skill alone, you're gonna tap into areas of your brain where there's genius potential. Because every single one of you has the ability to do genius stuff. It's just no one's ever believed in you, no one's ever shown you a pathway, no one's ever given you a strategy to do it. But the thing is, you just have to experience this once. You just have to experience the ability to change something within your brain so that your actions and your results change. Now, one of the ways, especially now during the AI era, because this is the AI era, this is going to be the AI era. The world has moved into the AI era, and everyone knows this, and governments know this, everyone knows this. Humans are still, in my opinion, still the most powerful force, most intelligent force in the world. There is so much information. Because we're not just getting information, we're feeling it. We're feeling that information. So, active listening. I used to think that I was a good listener, but I wasn't. I used to listen, and I already had, while someone was talking, I was already thinking about my answer. That's not active listening. I wasn't really listening. I was seeking to speak or seeking to put my information, to put my knowledge onto this discussion. And this is the thing. Every single person you talk to is like an encyclopedia. They've got so much. They're saying so much, not necessarily in their words, but in their body, with their body language, with their tone, with just how they're saying it, and just the way they're looking, and just the way they're feeling. And even when people are not talking, they're saying so much, and there's so much there. And when you're active listening, your job is exploring. You're trying to explore what is going on, what's happening. And I remember with myself now, I thought I was a good listener, but this is a skill. This thing here is a skill. It's not actually something to say, yeah, I'm a good listener, I'm a great listener. No, it was a skill. And I know with myself getting into conversation, sometimes I'm myself afraid of the silent moment. I'm afraid because when someone's talking, I wasn't necessarily looking at their body and their tone and trying to understand their feelings. It's all about us, and we're thinking about, okay, what am I going to say? How am I going to answer? What's going to be my response here? And instead of making it all about the person that you're talking to, because when you're active listening and you're exploring, it's a skill. the amount of data, the amount of information that you're going to get, that you're going to gain, that you're going to learn from, that you're going to get ideas from. It's going to allow you to spark new thoughts in your head. It's going to allow you to spark new ideas in your head, create new knowledge, try and action new knowledge. That is powerful. No book can do this. AI can't do that. AI cannot do that. It can pretend to do that, but it just can't do that. We can. This is a skill, and it takes practice. And this seems easy. Yeah, this is pretty easy. I'll start listening. But again, like any skill, you just got to keep trying it, keep doing it, keep practicing it, reflecting on that practice then. So you're reflecting on the practice. How did I like now, it's not just a matter of active listening, but it's then after that discussion, you go and reflect on how that discussion went. That's where the real growth happens, when you're reflecting on a discussion. What did I learn? What was going? What was this person's feelings? What was their emotions? What were they thinking? What happened there? What was I afraid of? Did I have any preconceived things that I wanted to say? Because when we start to fear silence moments, when we start to fear, what are we going to say? What are they thinking about us? It becomes about us and we're not gaining much. To be an active listener, it becomes about them. It's about their story, and it's about us discovering and learning. And when, again, you do this skill daily, the amount of things that are going to pop into your head, the amount of feelings and emotions, because you're going to feel it. You're going to watch that person and you're going to learn about body language. You're going to learn about their tone and their feelings and their emotions. You're going to empathize better. And when you're doing that, you're not afraid of silent moments, because naturally what happens is your brain is not even thinking about yourself. You're thinking about what you're learning, what you're seeing, what you're gaining. And it's funny, when I started doing this, there's one person that I have disliked for a long time. For whatever reason, he probably dislikes me, or we dislike each other. I think he's a selfish person, or I thought he was a selfish person. I just didn't think that this person was a good person. But interestingly, when I in the middle of doing these practices and having a discussion with this person, I remember when it became about them, about watching their body languages and watching their feelings and watching everything about him. And this person's a pretty tough guy, but I saw other things about this person's character that I'd never seen before. And I actually then started to like this person from a different angle, and I started to see things, and I walked out learning so much more instead of having these preconceived ideas about him. I had this positive feeling towards someone that I disliked, and I think they disliked me. And it's amazing when you're actively listening, you can get to understand and feel the other person in a way that you never saw that angle before. And that does wonders to the brain, because then all of a sudden you get new thoughts, and then you get new ideas, and then you start to make new decisions, and you get the new actions, and then ultimately different results. So this is something that's you can practice now. And naturally what happens is the phone goes away. Now they say always, if you want to be a good listener, take the phone away. But naturally what happens when you go in there, like watching a movie or reading a book, when you go talking with someone with the perspective that I want to do all this, naturally what happens is it becomes about them, and they feel it too. It's you're not afraid of the silent moment. You can be silent because you're listening. They know, someone knows when you're actively listening and when you're rushed to go to the next meeting. They know, I've got 5 minutes, I've got to leave, so you're rushing the meeting, you're rushing the chat, you're rushing the coffee. And I think both lose. So when you're actively listening, both win. The person that is talking, they feel that someone's caring, that someone on the other side is genuinely, authentically caring about me. And it becomes something more, something deeper. So it's a win-win situation. And this here, you may think, and I used to think, I'm a good listener, I'm a really great listener. But when you start doing active listening and then you're reflecting on your listening, when you start to experience this, I know for myself, I was not a good listener. I wasn't a good listener. I was just focused on my goals and getting my point across and not really listening to get that information. So then not only does my mind and my ideas start to expand, but again, there's this genuine, authentic feelings on emotions going across the room. I never experienced authentic active listening until I experienced it. I was listening, I was hearing what they were saying, but I was also had this preconceived wording in my head that I was going to say it back and forth. What happens when you're active listening, you're not afraid. You're not afraid. You don't have any preconceived ideas. So when I'm talking with someone, I really don't know what I'm going to say next. I'm just listening. I'm just trying to understand what's happening. And I used to have preconceived lines that I was going to say. I was thinking what I was going to say when I finished talking, because then there was no silent moment. That's all gone. That naturally goes when you improve this skill. Because that's what this is a skill. The more you do this and the more you practice this daily, what happens, not only will you be more authentic, more genuine, people will want to hang around with you. I mean, people that I can't believe some of the people that I'm hanging around with now, and I'm having a genuine relationship with, that I have known for a while, but never had this kind of connection. It was always, maybe it was there, maybe it wasn't, but maybe potentially it was there. It's just that I wasn't actively listening. And maybe they weren't actively listening, because you know what, to actively listen is a skill. And it's a deep learning skill, and it's a skill that can give you an abundance of ideas, an abundance of opportunity to explore other areas of your brain, so that you can become creative and you can go to places where you even never thought was possible. So learning is not just about reading a book or reading the paper and getting information and getting data. Deep learning is about using feelings and emotions to get information that's real. And when we're using our feelings and emotions to actively listen with another person across us that we're speaking to, even our family, sometimes we think we're listening, we've got a preconceived, but to be able to, and again, I know this is because I've experienced, to be able to really watch and get that information from their body, from the tone, to be able to understand their feelings and how those feelings are generated and why they're generated, and to understand the cause of that. It takes active listening. It really takes genuine work, and it does take work. But with practice, not only will your life change, but you will find out that some of these relationships in your life, your existing and even non-existing relationships, they will become more authentic.